now for your main CV, and we're going to do 20 minutes of rowing, which is going to work the muscles in both your upper body and your lower body. So in your upper body, the main muscles you'll be working now will be your deltoids, your lats and your abdominals, and the primary muscles working in your lower body will be your quads and your glutes. And we're going to use an advanced cardio method called interval training, which is a type of training that involves short bursts of high intensity activity with longer periods of lower intensity activity. Okay, so technically speaking, that means you're going to intersperse short bursts of rowing above your lactate threshold with longer periods of rowing below your lactate threshold. Does that make sense?
So what is lactate threshold?
Lactate threshold is basically an intensity of exercise that you could only maintain for a relatively short period of time. Okay?
So what is lactate?
So lactate, good question. It's basically, lactate is the byproduct of glucose utilisation by muscle cells. So basically when a muscle becomes metabolically stressed, there's a higher accumulation of lactate in the muscle, and if that level of intensity of exercise, if the intensity of exercise continues, at some point the contractile muscle mitochondria can't keep up with lactate clearance, so it gets exported to the blood, which is when we then see a rise in blood lactate levels, which is what lactate threshold is referring to. It's that point where you begin to have difficulty breathing and your body can no longer clear lactic acid from the bloodstream because the appearance of lactate accumulates faster than its rate of use. But the bottom line for you to understand really is that lactate threshold refers to a comfortably hard pace where you begin to have difficulty breathing, and you could only maintain that pace for a set period of time. Okay, so that's the theory of it out of the way. In practice now, what this is going to look like is you're going to begin rowing for 5 minutes at about 55 to 65% of your maximum heart rate. This is between what we call training zone 1 and training zone 2. So put simply, training zone 1 is a very light intensity. You could easily have a conversation with me at this pace. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's going to feel like a 3 out of 10 in terms of your perceived rate of exertion. And training zone 2 is a similarly light pace. It's a conversational pace. You can have a conversation, no problem. And in terms of your perceived rate of exertion, this will now feel like a 4 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10 max. And then after 5 minutes, you're going to strive to increase your speed to 70 to 90% of your maximum heart rate. This is between what we call training zone 3 and training zone 4. Now training zone 3 is that comfortably hard pace that I was talking about, where you can have a conversation with me now, but it will require some effort because you're going to be breathing a bit more heavily, and in terms of your perceived rate of exertion, it's going to feel like a 6 out of 10. Okay, in training zone 4 is a very difficult pace where if you were going to have a conversation with me, it's going to require maximum effort and you'll only be able to give me one-word answers. But you're only going to maintain that pace for 30 seconds before we then bring it back down to the starting pace. That's 55 to 65% of your max heart rate, training zone 1 and 2, but this time for 3 minutes before we then go into another 30-second stint, and we're going to continue like that until you've done 5 intervals all together. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm just going to show you how to use the rowing machine before we start. So what you want to do is obviously strap your feet in to begin with, and you want the strap to be across the widest part of your foot, and you're going to take the handles with an overhand grip and your hands about shoulder width apart, and you want to be sitting with a neutral spine position and leaning slightly forward from the hip. Okay, now you're going to push off against the foot pads, and I want you to bring the handle to your abs, not your chest, because if you bring it to your chest you could cause hyperextension of the spine, which could lead to injury. So always bringing the handle to your abs, and at the back of the movement you want your legs to be fully extended but not locked. Okay, and you want your back to be tilted back just slightly past the perpendicular. Then you're going to return the handle to the flywheel, lean forward from the hips to follow the arms, and slide yourself back to the starting position. So it'll look like that. Okay, yep. Any questions? No, you're good? Okay, yep, so strapping across the widest part of your foot there, good. Yeah, that screen's not working, is it? Might need to just hop over onto this one. Okay. Good. That's it, good. Okay, so you need to be doing this at a very light pace now, so this should only feel like, you know, a 3 out of 10 in terms of your perceived rate of exertion. Okay, you can easily have a conversation with me at this pace, so I want you to talk to me so that I know that that's the...
Yeah, I'm absolutely fine. I can talk.
Yeah, good. So I don't want you to be getting out of breath at all here. Just a nice, easy conversational pace. It's your warm-up pace or your cool-down pace.
Still feels fine.
Yeah, good. And don't lock your legs out, remember. Try not to lock those legs at the back of the movement. Well done for remembering to bring the hands all to your abs. That's good. Looks like you're locking your legs out a bit there. You're not, are you?
No.
Good. Okay. Just checking.
No.
So you're all ready for Christmas then?
Very.
You've got all your Christmas presents and...
Yeah, everything's wrapped.
You're
Ready to go.
doing better than me then. You're not one of these people that leaves your wrapping or your shopping to the last minute then?
No.
Some people start as early as January, don't they? Start collecting, do the January sales and...
I couldn't because my kids changed their mind. I got new Santa list. I'd already done the
Oh,
Santa
can you
list.
imagine? You get double the amount. Right, so nearly halfway through. How are you feeling? Still
Yeah,
light?
Still feels fine, yeah.
Yeah, good. This means you can have double the amount of mince pies. Okay, good. Still nice and easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still feels fairly.
Can have a
Fine.
How on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you say you feel?
I'd probably out of 5. I still feel like I can talk. Okay, there's definitely a lot more.
5 out of 10 is how it should feel max. So really, you want to stay between the 3 and the 4 if you can. Yeah. Okay. So 1 minute to go before we increase your speed. Doing really well. .30 seconds left, and then we're going to strive to increase your speed to about 70 to 90% of your maximum heart rate, and that's going to feel like a 6 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10 in terms of your perceived rate of exertion, and it should feel a very difficult pace. If I wanted to talk to you, you're probably only going to be able to give me one-word answers, or it's going to require effort to talk to me. So 3 seconds left. Okay, and let's now increase your speed to to a very difficult intensity. How does it feel on a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah.
How many?
Tougher, probably about 6, maybe 7.
Okay, let's go a little bit harder if we can. I want you to feel like an 8 out of 10 if possible. Good, well done. And now bring it down to the starting pace for 3 minutes this time. Okay. So now you should feel like a 3 or 4 out of 10 in terms of your perceived rate of exertion. This is between 55 and 65% of your maximum heart rate. So that's one interval, we've got 4 of those left to go. How do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10?
I feel tired already.
Yeah?
And that was with one interval.
This pace that you're doing now though is...
This pace is better.
Yeah.
It's definitely more comfortable.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, are you between, say, a 3 and a 4 now? Yeah, that's good. Okay, so that's where you need to be. No more than a 5 for this part. So what we're doing here is we're tapping into your glycogen stores, which is going to help you to lose body fat. Okay, I'll talk to you more about that at the end when I explain how today's session ties in with your overall goal. And we're also testing your aerobic fitness levels, obviously, as well, which is good. Right, so just a minute and a half left to go, and then we'll do our second interval. 1 minute to go. Doing really well. How do you feel?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I feel okay.
So, just want you to have a little chat with me because it's a conversational pace after all. So, got anything planned?
Probably about 3 hours. You feel alright?
Yeah? What have you got planned tomorrow? Anything nice?
No, seeing the kids.
Right, I'm satisfied. Right, 30 seconds and then we're going to increase that speed again. So keeping it nice and light. 20 seconds to go, I'll tell you when. And then I want you to increase your speed to 70 to 90% of your max heart rate again between training zone 3 and 4. It'll feel like between a 6 and 8 out of 10 in terms of your perceived rate of exertion. So 5 seconds left. 4, 3. Okay, now increase your speed for me. Good, well done. So really go for it now. Should feel like if I wanted to have a conversation with you now, you couldn't, you'd only be able to give me a one-word answer. Well done, well done. 5 seconds left, 5 seconds left at this pace. Good. And bring it back down to the starting pace for another 3 minutes. Okay. Well done, so 3 minutes at this pace now. That's 2 intervals you've done, we only need to do 3 more. Right, and now for your last interval, Alex, okay? So just 15 seconds left and then we'll go into your last 30-second stint. Okay, so 2, 1 and go for it. Okay, so 30 seconds between 70 to 90% of your max heart rate. Should feel like a 6 or an 8 out of 10 in terms of your perceived rate of exertion. Good, well done. 10 seconds left. Well Well done, keep that up, keep that pace up. And just as, I know that's the end, that's your final interval, but just do a little cool down for maybe 30 seconds. Okay, just bringing it down. Okay, how did that feel?
Yeah.
Yeah? You've burnt those mince pies off. Okay, so just 10 seconds left then. Just a little cool down and stop. Okay, well done, you did really well, you did really well.